'cause I can't see you anywhere. 'Cause I don't wanna know what I should go, no, I don't wanna let you down. You just wanna know how far I will go, 'cause you know I will stay around. So let me know where to go. So let me know where to go. I wanna find you.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today's video has been highly requested for months, and that is the Blisslight Starlight projector. I will finally be reviewing this. If you have been on this channel before, you'll know that we reviewed the laser Cosmos Starlight projector. I will have it linked in the bio if you want to go watch that one. These are probably the best two on the market, so I'm going to be at the end of this video comparing them both and telling you about the pros and cons. So if you want the comparison, please wait to the end, but I'm going to try and focus this video on just the Blisslights. So firstly, I just want to give a big thanks to Blisslights for actually sending me this Starlight projector. I did mention in my last video it'd be awesome if I could get my hands on this, and I reached out to them and they actually did send me the Starlight projector plus a few other really cool accessories I'll be showing later in the video. Firstly, before we get started, there's just one quick thing I wanted to say before we go into the video. Is there's quite a few companies on Instagram at the moment promoting Starlight projectors and using my footage along with other YouTubers' footage for a projector that isn't even what they're selling. So it was a laser Cosmos projector that I had in my previous video. They're stealing that footage and saying it's for their projector. Their projector's from cheap Chinese vendors. It's not the projector. It's not even the projector that I took the videos with. So if you do see ads going around, the one particular company I've had big issues with is called 𝒬𝒃. I will call them out. They're using my content for free to scam people, so I will name and shame them. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it except spread awareness to you guys through my platforms that do not buy off of these websites. Before you buy a product, definitely make sure to YouTube reviews on it first to check that it's even the product you're buying. So that is all I wanted to say, so let's jump straight into the video. So Blisslight sent me a couple things. They sent me the Skylite Laser Galaxy projector. I definitely have been saying it wrong. I just got the name in front of me, so that's the name it goes by. And they also sent me 3 Bliss Bulbs and 3 USB car Starlight projectors. So it's something that plugs USB into your car and projects stars. Sick, which is really cool. Didn't know that was a thing. So I'm going to be showing those later in the video. We'll start with the Starlight projector because I'm sure that's why many of you are here. So I got the Galaxy projector in blue nebula, green stars, but they do actually have a version of this which is blue nebula, blue stars, and I believe that is their newer model. This is definitely something to consider if you're going to buy it, which one you'll prefer. So my first thoughts upon opening it is that the body of it is so nice. It's hands down one of the best. Outer design of this projector is the best on the market. It's sleek, it's modern, it doesn't look like a kid's toy, it looks like it's for adults. Hands down, 10 out of 10 for looks. It's a much smaller size as well, so it really does tuck away in the corner. The only downside to this, I would say, is although it's a lot smaller and it does have spikes on the bottom which you can adjust, it points at the roof very easily, but I do find pointing at the wall, which I have got at the moment, you do have to rest it on books to get the angle you desire. It's not as adjustable as the other Starlight projector. I guess it's the downside to having a more sleek design that you lose the ability to point it exactly where you want it. I think it's a very minor inconvenience for a much better looking body. It's significantly smaller. So the projector has 3 buttons on the side. You've got the on and off button, which you also use to filter through the different modes. Obviously you got on and off, and then you got stars only, you've got nebula only, and then you got stars and nebula. Personally, I like running it on stars and nebula. It's personal preference, but you do have that option. The middle button appears to be, from what I can figure out, you've got the option to have the design stay still, and then if you click it, it moves around the room. So it basically animated or non-animated is what I believe that button is. And then the last button is brightness. The reason for that, this projector is a lot brighter than the previous projector, which is why I prefer using this projector while I'm streaming or recording videos, because as you can see, it shows up on the wall behind me very clearly with the other lights on, where unfortunately the last projector is a little bit duller, that if any other lights are on in the room, it gets completely drowned out. So if you're wanting this projector for something in the background while you're recording or while watching a movie, it doesn't get as drowned out. So this is where the brightness controls come into it. When you want to go to sleep, if you've got it on the brightest one, which it's on now, it is way too bright. So you've got 3 modes. So I have it on the lowest if I'm going to sleep, which is perfect. You can just like faintly on the roof and it's not as bright when you're trying to go to sleep. Where when I'm watching a movie or recording, I've got it on the brightest setting. Another important thing to take note, you will need an adapter for this projector depending where you're from. It didn't come with the wall adapter for me, so I believe this is on a UK plug. So I have to use an adapter to obviously make it on an AU plug. Not a big deal, it's just another added cost you might want to be aware of, but if you're from the UK, you don't really have to worry about it. So onto the design of the projection. The Blisslights is a lot more intense than the Twilight. There's more stars, the nebula's more spread out, and it's just a lot more, there's a lot more going on. So I feel like you'll either love this or you'll hate this. This is also a lot brighter, so you see it a lot clearer. I prefer each of them for different reasons, which I'll explain later on, but this one, the Blisslights, is great for showing up when you've got the TV on or other lights in your room. So I kind of prefer it for that fact that it actually shows up. It's also important to mention that this Starlight projector has a 6-hour timer, so it will shut off after 6 hours of being on. It's a really good indication of how long I've been streaming. But when you're sleeping, yeah, it's a lot longer of a timer. So if you do fall asleep to this, it will shut itself off, which is a really cool feature if you're using this for your kids or something. So the actual projection, the nebula swells around and so do the stars. You do have the option to just sit it still. I just have it animated because I think it looks, I don't know, it's just a vibe. I like it animated, but once again, personal preference. You do have different modes you can cycle through. I'll give you some examples now. You've got the stars only. You've got, which is like very trippy, and then you've got nebula only, and then you've got stars and nebula. So not too many options, but just enough. Okay, so another really cool thing about this projector, which I find a huge advantage to the laser Twilight projector, is this is dead silent. Completely silent, does not make a sound. You would know if you saw my previous review, the laser Twilight projector makes a loud buzzing noise when it's on. I don't know why, it buzzes so loud. It's not something you can sleep to, unfortunately. But the Blisslights, so it just makes no sound at all. So to sleep to this, you wouldn't even know it's on. It's not a distraction when you're recording. It's not going to get picked up in the mic. It's just all around better when it comes to noise. I mainly just use this for when I'm streaming. As you can see right now, it's behind me. And you might not think it makes a big difference, but if I turn this off now, that looks quite cool. So if I turn the Starlight projector off, you can see it makes a huge difference. My wall looks really plain and it's just got the nanoleaf and the LEDs at the moment. So I definitely like running this while streaming. It's unique. Nobody that I've seen so far has done it, which is why I chose to run a Starlight projector behind me. So moving on to the USB star projectors. I'll pop up the proper name on screen now if I am saying it incorrect. I think they do have a proper name. These are just little USB projectors that you plug into your car and it projects stars onto your roof. So it comes in red, green, and blue. That's the only thing I would say I'm a little disappointed with. I wish they had more color options, or I hope in future they do decide to make more color options. Pink or purple, please. But it's still really cool. I've always wanted something to kind of like spice up my car. And this is definitely a really cool way to do that. Keep in mind, you obviously need a USB port in your car for this to work. So unfortunately, if you've got an older model car and you don't have a USB port, it's a rip. You also want to make sure your USB port is in a convenient location. My car's quite convenient. It's just in a convenient location and projects very easily onto my roof. So it's not actually very distracting when you're driving. Just make sure you've got it angled so it's not coming into the corner of your eye. If you want to spice up your car for cheap, this is definitely a really good way to do it. So lastly, they sent me the Bliss Bulbs, which is, at first I thought they were replacement bulbs for the Starlight projector, but they're not, so don't be fooled. They're just light bulbs that project stars onto the wall. It also came in blue, red, and green. Like I said above, it'd be really nice if they could do an RGB version of this. It would be really, really cool, and I think it would sell really well. At the moment, you're limited to green, red, and blue. It still adds a really cool effect to your room if you can't afford the Starlight projector right now. This is a really cool alternative option to spice up your room for less. I know a bunch of you have been asking me which projector I prefer. So I'm gonna give you the pros and cons to each one. So the pros of the Blisslight is it's silent when projecting. It's got brightness controls, and it's bright enough to actually show up with other lights on in your room. It's a modern, sleek design of the actual projector. The only con I have for this projector is that it's not as easy to angle. The sleek design just makes it a little bit harder to angle it in the exact spot you want it. But this is, once again, you can fix it via like stacking books and whatnot. So the Laser Cosmos Starlight Projector cons. It's a very bulky body and it kind of looks like a kid's toy, which I said a million times in that video. It makes a loud buzzing noise when it's on, which unless you've got white noise in the room, it's very distracting to sleep to. The projection is not bright enough to be seen with other lights on in the room, so it doesn't really show up on the wall behind me like this one is. But the pros to the Laser Cosmos is, although the design is bulky, it's very adjustable. You can swivel it to wherever you want. So the actual projection of the Laser Cosmos is a little bit more galaxy-like, I find. They're both really good designs. I just think my personal preference for the projection is I like the space feel of the Laser Cosmos. So that's the pros and cons to both of them. I hope it's made it a little bit easier to decide which one's better for you. I personally recommend, if you're wanting a projector behind you for filming or to be show up with other lights on, I highly recommend the Blisslights. If you're just wanting a Starlight projector for anything else, you could pick either. But if you're going to be filming or have other lights on, definitely get the Blisslights over the Laser Cosmos. So I hope this video has helped you decide what laser projector is better for you. Let me know down in the comments which one you decide to get or which one you prefer. I will leave a link to my previous review of the Laser Cosmos down in the info section below, so go check it out if you haven't seen that. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more future videos like this. You can also find me on Twitch Mondays to Fridays. But that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
I should go, no, I don't wanna let you down.